These are the workout mistakes I wish I didn't do. As every beginner, we go inside the gym, we don't know too much and we try our best to have a good workout and probably not to get injured. And mainly this is how we learn, probably trial and error. But in today's video, I would like to help you guys not to go through my mistakes. I will save you some time and some injuries probably. So bear with me, I'm going to share you my experience so you'll not have to go through what I went through. Mistake number one, execution. No one is born with bodybuilding experience and no one knows from the beginning how to properly execute and work out. So we need to learn somehow, maybe YouTube videos like this one, maybe friends, family or any gym bro that can help us, with some advice. In my case, I was not researching enough. I was going with my friends at the gym. We didn't know much. We didn't have good sources of information. So we were just trying different things. Within our group, we didn't have any experienced guy to teach us how to work out properly. So in time, doing multiple mistakes, we learned the hard way how to properly execute an exercise. Unfortunately, we got injured. We got all kinds of joint pains. It was definitely not the best way to learn. What I wish is that I research more, not being afraid to ask people around me that are more experienced. Research more on internet, find guys that are experienced and they show you and they teach you how to do a proper execution. We were trying to ask people around to help us, people who we looked up to and they were like bigger and stronger. But it's not always the case that those guys actually know more or they have a good execution. You see very often inside the gym guys who are big but their execution is really bad. So you need to pay attention from whom are you seeking advice. Another issue regarding the execution, it was that we were rushing through this learning process. In the beginning, in the first months, all I needed to do just learn. So I was rushing through the process. I wanted immediately to gain some weight, to be muscular, and I didn't really care that much about execution. In the beginning phase, in the first 3-4 months, all you need to do is just learn the movements, make sure that you contract the muscles that are supposed to work, use a moderate weight, do not have crazy intensity and just stay safe. Your joints, your muscles are not used with weights workouts, so if you push them from the beginning to the maximum, you risk injuries. And unfortunately, these injuries are gonna last quite a lot in your career. Talking about injuries and a lot of weight, we go to mistake number 2, ego lifting. Probably I'm not the only one who tries his limits or who tries to see how strong he is. This is a very common mistake when you see teenagers or you see beginners inside the gym. They are trying to see how strong they are. Their execution is not there, the foundation is not there yet, they have no idea how to properly do a movement, but they start to bump up the weight more and more. Obviously it was my case. Obviously I regret it now because I have, joints that are aching a little bit because of that period. Even though it was many years ago, it still has some kind of effect. This is probably one of my biggest regrets because I should have, stay young, enjoy that period, learn a lot, and then I had enough time to bump up the weight afterwards. But just enjoy that period in which you learn, you're a beginner, accept the fact that you're a beginner, do not look up to the guys that train for 5 years and try to imitate them. No, you're a beginner, stick with that phase, learn the movements, and then slowly increase the intensity and the weight. I really feel like I'm talking with my younger self right now, like I'm grounding him. Don't use heavy weights, don't do this. What I was also doing, it was competing with other guys. We were 4 guys training, so 2 groups, and we were trying to compete against each other and also compete against other guys inside the gym, who's stronger, obviously. So this is, again, a very common mistake. You see guys, they're trying to prove themselves, they're trying to see which one is more alpha than the other, and then they just risk injuries, and that's all. They don't make any gains. Obviously, some competition is good, but control it, learn the proper movement first. And again, like I said it many times before, and probably you heard it, this boring saying that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Well, it's very true. You're not gonna sprint this bodybuilding career in half a year or 1 year. It's gonna take a good decade. As looking back, I remember that I was always looking forward to heavier and heavier weights. For me, in my mind, if one guy that was bigger was using a certain amount of weight, once I was reaching as fast as I could that weight, I could look exactly like him. Well, it's definitely not the case. You see bigger guys who use lighter weights but with a very proper execution, and you're just struggling, pushing with all your joints and everything possible to move that amount of weight, but the execution is totally different. Later in years, I learned that contracting the muscle and feeling the muscle burn, obviously with heavier weights, that's actually what it makes the muscle grow and break the muscle fiber. Not just using heavier and heavier weights without any feeling of that muscle contracting. So if you take anything from this video, just take this. Do not ego lift. Don't look at other guys and try to imitate and try to use heavy weights. Just forget about it. Don't worry if people criticize you or make fun of you that you're using light weights. You're gonna make fun of them when they're gonna get injured. So just stay safe. That being said, let's go to mistake number 3, overtraining. Now, obviously, if you use a whole bunch of weights as heavy as possible, you have to use them as often as possible and as much as possible. This was in my mind. So I wanted to do 5 times a week, as much as I could, probably 1 hour, more than 1 hour and 15 minutes sometimes, and 5 times a week again. You know, it's like just all the time inside the gym. Just to remind you guys, this is how I used to look. So I was at 48 kilograms, which is like 105 pounds. So imagine this tiny little guy trying to work out 5 times a week for more than an hour with as heavy weights as possible and shitty execution. That's just a recipe for disaster. Look at those tiny joints. Those joints cannot sustain all that weight. So what I wish I didn't do is work out that much per workout, but also per week. If you are in a situation like me, you know, you're just skinny like this and you have a very hard time putting on weight, 3 times a week, maximum 4 times a week, it's enough in the beginning. Do not overtrain. Don't have this mentality that the more you do, the better. It's not the case. In our situation, is never the case. You have to pay attention not to burn too many calories. You need to be in a calorie surplus. You need to give the body enough calories and enough time to recover. 45 minutes is more than enough in the beginning. Later, after let's say half a year, bump it up to 1 hour per workout, but do not exaggerate. How you can easily identify if you're overtraining. Let's say that you're spending 2-3 months in this bulking phase and you see 0 progress, which means that either your calories from the food are not enough, but if they are enough and you have like 400-500 calories surplus and there's 0 progress, it means that you're burning too many calories and you cannot accomplish that caloric surplus. So the best thing to do is start to look at your activity level, and if you're training 5-6 times a week, just reduce that. Take out 2 workouts. Have, for example, Monday, Tuesday workout, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday again workout, and the weekend is off. This way you have enough time to recover, and in the days you're not working out, for sure you're in a surplus, if you're eating enough, of course. When we are talking about overtraining, what it usually means is under-eating and under-recovering. So regarding the nutrition, make sure you're in a calorie surplus, make sure you have enough calories. Regarding the recovery, you need to make sure that you're obviously sleeping enough per night, but also throughout the week you don't have too many workouts and for too long. After a period, let's say that you're making progress, and after, let's say, half a year, you feel that, okay, I'm recovered, I'm feeling good throughout the week, and I feel that I can push 1 more workout. Then you can do, for example, what is called a 3-1-2-1. So you can go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, have a workout, then Thursday is off, Friday, Saturday again, Sunday off. This way you have 1 day off in between, so you don't go 5 days in a row. You have 1 day in between that allows you to recover, and then you have the next 2 workouts. My current split right now, it's exactly like this. I have Monday legs, Tuesday push, Wednesday pull, Thursday I have off, Friday I go push again, Saturday pull. This way I feel much better, and Thursday it's really a day in which I cool off. I have 3 heavy days in the beginning of the week, and then I recover Thursday and I am good to go again for the next 2 sessions. So when you're looking at your physique and you're wondering, why am I not growing? Should I do more? I'm not doing enough, I'm not training enough. Maybe you're actually doing too much. So start reducing the volume of the workouts per week and per workout. If you train 1 hour and 15 minutes, reduce it to 1 hour. If you're training 5 times a week, reduce it to 4 or 3 times a week, especially if you're a beginner. Don't be like me, don't overtrain, don't try to do too much, expecting to grow in 1 year like others grew in 10. So if I would be able to go back in time, back to this guy and see him face to face, I would shake him a little bit and tell him, look, listen to me, do not overtrain, don't do too much, keep the ego lifting out, you don't need heavy weights, and just focus on the execution. Learn the movement properly, seek proper advice from experienced people. Read books, learn, study the nutrition, study the execution, recover well, and you will finally start gaining some weight, put on some muscle mass. So guys, if you are beginners or not only, take this advice. Don't try to do too much. Pay attention to your execution, ego lifting and overtraining. Up here you have other videos regarding my nutrition and also regarding workouts. It's a lot of information up there, so you can check it out and learn more. If this video helped, hit that like and subscribe buttons. Thanks again for watching guys, and see you next time. Ciao.